What's up, YouTube? It is Kylie Martin here. We are back again on the Supercross BMX YouTube channel, and it's grand season, guys. It is literally so many days away. It's coming up so fast, and with that, we know that you guys are going to be having to maintenance your bikes and going through, making sure that they're going to be the fastest racing rigs possible. But in order to do that, we got to go over some of the things that you guys are probably doing wrong when you're maintaining your bikes. So if you want to have the fastest racing rigs come that grand season gate drop, then you're going to want to stick around for this video. So let's get into it. All right, guys, so first things first on this one. We all know I'm a big fashion girly. We all know that I like to have the right outfits. But in this situation, I swear it has a reason. You don't want to wear light clothing while you're working on your bike. There's so much grease, so much chain lube, so much different cleaners that we're all going to be using that are going to stain our clothing if we're not careful. So with that, I think I gotta get out of this light color shirt. This is much better. I've got the all black look going on right now, so I don't have to worry about any types of grease stains, oil stains, lubricant sprays, any of that. I'm good to go in my all black Ride Fast, Race Fast hoodie. Now that we've got that outfit dilemma all sorted out, we're gonna get into the tools on this one, guys. So as you notice as you're working on your bike, maybe your brake cable needs to be cut, maybe it's starting to fray, things like that. Maybe it's brand new and you're just installing it. Either way, you wanna make sure that you're using tools that are sharp, ready to go, and able to get the job done. You don't want to be using cable cutters that are dull and could potentially fray the cable if it's new, or worse than the fray of a cable that's already been used. Same thing with whenever you're pulling out bolts, things like that. You want to inspect, make sure everything's good, and make sure that your tools are not dull, especially when it comes to bolts. If you're having an Allen that you notice is, okay, it's starting to round off a little bit, not only is that gonna mess up your screw, but it's also gonna ruin the rest of the lifespan of your Allen wrench. So with that, you wanna make sure that your tools are all up to date, they're all new. Invest in the right tools, guys. That's the next thing. Don't be using the wrong size tools for different types of aspects. What I mean by that is don't be trying to make the same Allen that you use to get out your tire as you would for your stem. The sizing isn't gonna match, you're just gonna end up scratching everything up, and I promise you metal isn't gonna shrink at the blink of an eye. So just go ahead and get the right size tool for that. While I will say this, in some instances, like when you're dealing with a stripped bolt, which if you haven't seen that video yet, go watch after this one. But if you're dealing with a stripped bolt, then it can work out with using a different size tool or a different tool in general to try and get the job done, such as using a star Allen instead of your normal traditional Allen. But like I said, there are very, very, very few instances where you're gonna wanna use a different size tool or an overall different category of tool to try and get the job done for something. All right, guys, so now that we have the right tools, we have everything good to go, and we're taking apart the bike, we wanna make sure that we're not misplacing small objects, like things that come in the headset. Could be a spacer, could be your dust cap, could be a bearing. Either way, guys, we want to make sure that we're keeping track of those items. And another important thing, especially when it comes to the headset, is going to be keeping your order. So a good way to do that is to either keep everything together as one set, but sometimes stacking can be hard, which is why it's easy to just lay things out in front of you like so. So here I know after I've taken apart my headset that I'm going to have my top bearing, my compression cap, my dust cap. Then I'm gonna have my set of spacers, you can go above or below your stem, and then you're gonna go ahead and have your top cap to finish it all off, and that's gonna be your entire headset. But it's things like these that we don't wanna mess up the order on because that can really throw it off, especially, can't stress this enough, guys, with the spacers. Your dust cap and below, those things are always gonna stay together, but your spacers are what's really gonna change the millimeters on your bars. It changes the height, it's gonna change where you put your body weight on the bike, all of those types of things, and it can make it really, really, really awkward and difficult for you to relearn if you get those wrong, especially with how many of a millimeter difference that a stem spacer can make. Could be anything from 1 millimeter all the way up to even who knows what. So with that, we want to make sure that we're keeping that order in place. What we really got to focus on is as we're putting the bike back together, that we're not over under tightening anything. Okay, either or can do just as much harm. So we really want to make sure we're finding that happy medium, especially when you're working with carbon, specifically your bars. You don't want to over tighten your stem. and risk leading to a crack in the bar, because that's just really going to decrease the lifespan of your bars anyways, along with other parts on your bikes. Additionally, with that, you don't want to tighten the stem too much to the point where you can barely turn, because that's just not ideal, guys. We got races to win. We can't be having little things like that happen. So, like I said, you want to find that happy medium. Don't leave them too loose to the point where they're moving, but in the event that you case a jump, you want the bar to move back a little bit so it takes the impact off of your wrist. Because we're all running carbon, guys, and guess what? Carbon's stiff. Carbon hurts when you case sometimes. So anything that we can do to kind of alleviate that slack, we want to go ahead and do. But moving on, we've got the bike all together. Now we're down to the point of lubing the chain or spraying the chain. Guys, with this, if you're going with a spray, do not, and I'm saying this, guys, do not start spraying unless you have one of these small red straws to go with it to really get the point that you want. Okay, if you're leaving the cap just open like this, it's gonna spray huge amounts everywhere, and we want to avoid getting stuff in our bearings. That is going to decrease its lifespan so much and make it so inconvenient when you're trying to ride. But if you must spray and you don't want to use the traditional lube, then get one of these red straws, guys. It's not that hard. Get one of these. It keeps all of that overspray off of your bearings. Makes you a happy camper. But with that, as you're going through with any other types of cleaners, avoid getting them near your bearings, guys. Go nowhere near your bearings with any type of liquid or cleaner. Stay away. Just absolute red flag if you do that. Do not go near your bearings with any type of liquid. It is just going to decrease the lifespan of those bearings and of your overall bike health. So stay away from doing that. All right, and then last but not least here, guys, plan your time accordingly. Do not do this the night before a national or the night before any type of race for that matter. Plan your time accordingly. Give yourself time to work on the bike and time for the lube to set in, all of that stuff. And preferably, try and make sure to get a couple of laps or even just ride your bike around the block a bit to make sure that you notice nothing too crazy or too drastic change during your bike maintenance process. That's all I have today for you guys. Thank you so much for all tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Drop down in the comments if this video helped you, anything that you think we left out, all of that good stuff, and we can't wait to catch you guys on the next video. And we gotta go ahead and put on our Supercross Vans, guys.